Welcome to our group presentation. Today we are going to present the chapter 5. This topic about the consumer markets and buyer behaviors. In this chapter, we will study deep into how to understand the marketplace and the consumer values in order to grab the consumer values and create a marketplace for ourselves. In the beginning of our presentations, we're gonna define the consumer markets and construct a simple model of consumer buyer behaviors. In the chapter 5, we will be explore deeply into this topic in learning objective 1. So the consumer buyer behavior is the buying behavior of final consumers, which are the individuals or household that buy goods and services for personal consumptions. And the consumer markets, they are made up to serve the consumer, which are individuals and household which have been aforementioned that buy or acquire goods and services for their personal consumptions. So from the buyer consumer behavior, we're gonna elevate it into the model of consumer behavior in order to understand clearly how buyer make decisions, how buyer purchase stuff. So first is the environmental aspect, which is based on marketing similarities, namely products, price, plate, and promotions, alongside with economic, technological, social, and cultural aspects in order to get to know the characteristic of the buyer and how they make decision process in the buyer black box. Then the buyer will respond to to the products. They will make decisions based on their preferences and attitudes and needs of the consumer towards the products, and also the connection of the brands, and also the relationship of the consumer and the brand.
Well, for the control factors, and first of all, we have to know about control factors significantly influence consumer behaviors, encompassing control, subcontrol, and social class considerations. Culture, learned from family and institutions, shapes values and perceptions and behaviors. Subculture, just like Hispanic Americans, African Americans, or Asian Americans, form distinct market segments, leading companies to tailor products and marketing for these groups. And the social class, divided into 7 classes in the US, influence buying behaviors with distinctions in preference for clothing, travel, financial service, and more. Marketers adopt a total market strategies, integrating ethnic themes and recognizing insights from diverse ethnic consumer segments to influence broader markets. In conclusions, understanding control factors, subcultures, and social class is crucial for marketers to develop effective strategies and connect with diverse consumer segments. With social factors, um, in consumer behavior, social factors will significant influence, and these encompass groups and networks. Small groups and social networks impacts behaviors. Memberships and reference groups, including aspirational ones, and contribute to attitudes and choices. Word of mouth influence. Personal recommendation carry more weight than commercial messages. Trust in family, friends, and online review shapes consumer decisions. Opinion leaders, but marketing. Identifying influentials within reference groups is crucial. Buzz marketing utilizes these figures to create positive conversations and promote products. Online social networks, platforms like Facebook or Instagram, are integral to modern marketing. Brands engage millions, collaborating with influencers and leveraging events to drive conversations. Family dynamics. The family and primary consumer organizations experience evolved roles. Men are taking on more purchasing responsibilities, and children significantly influence family decisions. Roles and status. Individual roles within groups guide product choice, reflecting social esteem. Marketers must align with these roles to effectively connect with consumers.
In addition, personal factors can also influence customer decision. One of the more typical factors is occupation, as people having different jobs can be attracted by various products. For example, blue-collar workers buy rugged clothes while business people wear suits. Therefore, marketers tend to identify occupations that might be interested in their products. Age and life state should also be taken into consideration, as people constantly changes their preferences throughout their lifetime and sometimes are shaped by family stages, such as marriage or retirement. So, defining their target markets in terms of stage can be a powerful tool for marketers in all industry to find better and understand, engage with their customer. Moreover, buyers' economic situation should also be taken into are also important as this could affect their choices and how they would act and interact in the world. The last personal factors are personality and self concept, since different people may have different personalities and tend to choose a brand that matches their personality. There are five brand personalities, for example, sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness. For example, Ford may be associated with ruggedness, and for Apple, it would be excitement. Not only that, but psychological factors can also play an important role in affecting consumers' behavior, and this includes motivation, perception, learning, and beliefs and attitudes. People can have many needs at a time and tend to satisfy the most important one first before moving on to the next. Perception can also be different with selective attention, distortion, or retention, so information can be perceived and interpreted differently among consumers. One thing consumers do is see things through their learning or past experience, and maybe through their beliefs and attitudes and thoughts about the world. As this put consumers into a frame of mind, this is more difficult to change, and marketers must pay attention to this.
This is Objective 5.3, Understanding Consumer Buying Behavior. Here, we are talking about how people choose what they buy, and there are four main ways they do it. Imagine that it has different flavors of the decision making. Complex buying behavior takes center stage when consumers are highly involved in purchase, especially when significant brand differences, things about the world of expensive, risky, and infrequent purchase items, such as a new car. Marketers, in this scenario, must navigate the consumer through a learning process, providing the necessary information to guide their decision making. Now, imagine a scenario where consumers are highly involved in purchase but preserve little difference among brands. This is what we call dissonance reducing buying behavior. Pictures buyers selecting coveting a choice often made swiftly based on price or convenience. Marketers need to step in post purchase, addressing any dissonance by providing evidence and support for the chosen brand. Habitual buying behavior emerges in situations with low consumer involvement and minimal brand difference. Think of everyday products like table salt. Consumers reach for a particular brand out of habit. Marketers in this space often employ price promotion or add unique features to differentiate brands and enhance consumer involvement. In contrast, consumer exhibit variety-seeking behavior when faced with low involvement but significant perceived brand difference. Imagine someone switching between cookie brands not out of dissatisfaction but simply for the sake of variety. Market leaders aim to encourage habitual buying, dominating sales space, while challenger firms focus on promotions and incentives to attract variety-seeking consumers. Now that we have explored these buying behaviors, let's discuss how marketers can tailor their strategies for complex buying behavior, guide their learning process, and differentiate brands. Dissonance reducing behavior requires post purchase support and evidence. Habitual buying involves buying promotion and brand differentiation. In variety seeking behavior, marketers leaders encourage habit, while challengers attract with promotion and incentives. By understanding these buying behaviors, marketers can navigate the consumer landscape effectively, influencing decisions and ensuring their products stand out in the broad marketplace.
Upcoming is the buyer's decision process. The process is illustrated through these diagrams, and the diagram suggests that most of the time consumers go through five major steps during every purchase. However, some buyers go through the process quicker while some will be slower. As they get used to the process, consumer may skip or reverse some of these stages. Coming to the first step is need recognition. It's when they recognize the problem or need that can be solved by buying the product. This can be happen by internal stimuli, which is basic needs such as hunger or thirst, or can also be triggered by external stimuli, which is when seeing someone has a product. So consequently, they want to buy it, or simply they hear the product through a conversation. The second one is information search. This step might be skipped if the customer urge to buy something is too strong or the satisfying product is nearby, or else they will gather information from different sources, namely personal sources, commercial sources, public sources, or maybe experiential sources. Next is evaluation of alternatives. This is when marketers compete. After gathering enough information about brands, product features, prices, they will compare it to each other. Also, consumer evaluation can be affected by friends, online reviews, or maybe online advertisement. Step number 4 is purchase decision. This is the most important step for the marketers when they get the returns. During this stage, consumer decisions still can be affected by their friends or maybe some economic events that happens. Finally, the final step is post-purchase behavior. After purchasing the products, it may satisfy or dissatisfy the customer, but almost every major purchases, they will feel annoyed because of some drawbacks of the brand they acquired, while giving away the benefits of the alternatives.
Continuously, we'll be moving to the last part of Chapter 5, the buyer decision process for new products. So first of all, we have to know what is an adoption process. It is a mental process through which an individual passes from first hearing about an innovation to final adoption. And the product adoption process is made of 5 stages. The first stage is awareness. It is when consumer becomes aware of the new product, but lacks information about it. Interest. Our consumer started to seek for the product information. In the evaluation stage, they would consider whether to try the new product or not. And then trial refers to the stage that consumers try that new product on a small scale to improve their estimate of its value. And last but not least, in the adoption stage, consumers will consider whether to fully or regularly use that new product. Let's have a look at individual differences in innovativeness. There are 5 main types. The first one, innovators, refer to the first who are eager to try risky new things. Early adopters can be described as respectful and trend followers, often opinion leaders who adopt cautiously after careful consideration. Think of a tech-savvy Gen Z. Early mainstream is more careful but still curious. Late mainstream are skeptical and patient. They will wait until most have adopted before consciously trying. Think of your parents, who finally switches to smartphone after years. Laggards comprise a group of consumers who avoid change and may not be willing to adopt new product. The product characteristics of a new product also affected rate of adoption. 5 characteristics below are especially important. Relative advantage refers to the degree to which an innovation appears superior to existing ones. Compatibility, or how compatible an innovation is with its values and experiences of potential consumers. Complexity shows whether the innovation is difficult to understand or use. Divisibility implies the degree to which an innovation may be tried on a limited basis. Communicability how the innovation's results can be observed and are described to others. As a case in point, electric cars do not cost as much to recharge as gasoline cars, so which can be an example of relative advantage. Moreover, there's no need for any new skills to drive an electric car, so that is a compatibility of electric cars compared to the gasoline ones.
After 4 objective, we move to the conclusion part. So the buyer behavior that learning objective 1 summarize the consumer markets consist of all the individuals and households that buy or acquire goods and services for personal consumptions. We also learn about the simplest model of consumer buyer behavior, which is called the stimulus response model. So we get to know that consumer not only based on the 4Ps method to make the decisions on purchasing products, they also based on the economic, technological, social, and cultural aspects of the products. So the objective 5.2 expand and step in detail of the 4 most important aspects that affect the consumer behavior, namely cultural, social, personal, and psychological aspects. Therefore, it's also illustrate about the human needs in the hierarchy charts, which are self-actualization needs, esteem needs, social needs, safety needs, and psychological needs, respectively. So in the objective 5.3, we know that buying behavior vary greatly across different types of products and buying decisions. And the consumer undertake a complex buying behavior when they are highly involved in a purchase and perceive significant differences among brands. The dissonance reducing behavior occurs when consumers are highly involved but still little different among brands. The habitual buying behavior occurs under condition of low involvement and little significant brands difference. The objective 5.4 illustrate the product adoption process, which is made up of 5 stages: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoptions. And new product marketers must think how to help their consumer move through these stages. Each type of customer require different type of marketing approaches, and many characteristics influence the rate of adoption. And marketers have to bring these into the adjustment in order to suit with the types of customer.